in this presentation will be on the subject matter, literature review, theoretical framework, and conceptual framework. So these are the three core elements of our presentation this very moment. So we're going to see three of them in details and how they can be applied in research. So let's start now. This presentation overview and purpose this on the at the end of this presentation. You need to be able to understand what literature review, theoretical framework, and the conceptual framework. Be able to also to understand the importance of literature review, theoretical framework, and conceptual framework, as well as how you can be able to play around with them in a research. What is a literature review? As we know that a component of research writing, proposal writing, have everything to do with literature review. And that being said, there is a need for you to be able to understand what it is. That will give you a better idea how you can use it, the important, and then how you can use it in your research. First of all, what is a literature review? It is a critical analysis, synthesis of existing research and scholarly work relevant to your particular study, to your particular research objective, to your particular research question, and so on and so forth. So what research review is all about, it is you critically analyzing existing piece of academic work in regards to what you are currently doing. And why will you do that? The objective of you undergoing literature review, writing literature review, in having literature review in your research, is that it enables you to identify, evaluate, synthesize, analyze existing academic work that will enable you to understand more of that very research that you are currently doing or you want to do. So it gives you a broader picture of what that study is all about for you to be able to do it, carry it out, and then achieve your objective. It also enables you as a researcher to identify the gap in the current literature, what has been done, and what is not there. Because you can't be able to know what was done and what is left out without you if you have not read literature. So you reading literature, writing literature in your work, should review in your work, it's all about, it gives you that, it's ways to identify any gap in literature, and that will guide you towards the area you're going to focus, so that you don't research or work on what is already known, or solution that is already provided. But from you reading literature, so you're able to know the missing gap and the way forward, which allows you to contribute meaningfully to academic body of knowledge. So, and then in order for you to do your literature review, there are key sources or database you can use. And then those key sources are commonly used in literature review, are these ones there, but not only these ones, like your Scopus, Web of Science, Google Scholars, and institutional library, because institutions these days provide documents all their stores, all their theses, dissertations, academic papers, and articles, and all those things. So when you go through those institutional library repositories, you're able to get more sources. And then also, these key sources provide access to a wider range of scholarly articles, research papers, conference papers, and many of them, which are relevant in your area of study. So in order for you to write your literature review meaningfully, you need to consult a lot of sources, a lot of database that house what you want to do or what you are currently doing to give you more insight to all those pieces of work, all those piece of document that are relevant to what you are trying to do. So by so doing, you can be able to now to identify the gap in literature to know where you'll be driving to. Okay, so we continue. So also, there are major, because of what literature review aims to do in academic document, in a proposal, in a research paper, in a thesis, dissertation. Now, a typical literature review theme, headings and topics, because remember, when you are able to when you're able to identify those gaps and everything, evaluate and so on and so forth, it also enables you to build your themes, your headings and your topic, which forms part of your literature review, because you can't write literature review without having your headings, your themes, your subheadings, and so on and so forth, which by so doing, in a typical part of your literature review, you're gonna have the historical body background of what you're trying to do, the theoretical framework, current research findings, gap in knowledge, future direction, research directions relating to the subject of interest that you are currently doing. So now those headings and themes and everything guides you towards that. But one of the best way which I found that for you to build your themes, your headings, your topics, your subheadings on your literature review is looking at your research objectives. Now, one of the important of this is this. Let's assume you have a 3, 4, or as many as number of research objectives you have. That automatically will enable you to build more relevant teams. Let's assume you have 3 research objectives. Automatically, you're gonna each of your objectives should form part of heading or subheading or topic of your literature review. When you're able to be able to discuss each of them as a separate headings and subheadings, now you're able to have a comprehensive idea what is missing out, what others have covered in that very particular objective, and the way forward. So literature review, to get it right, you should be able to build your teams through your research objectives. And remember, not only when you have 3, then you stop at 3, but at least those 3 should be there, and others which you can also come up with. Now, critical review and analysis of literature review, which involves evaluating the length and the weakness of a previous studies, identifying inconsistencies and gaps and everything. This process requires a systematic approach to assess the quality of evidence, methodology, and theoretical framework. Now, the critical analysis of you writing, building your literature review, or everything about the strengths, the weaknesses in the previous research will be made clear onto you. That through that you can now say, okay, look at what others have done and look at what you are going to come up with. And then also a gap, which also literature review enables you to do that critical review, and also gap identification. Okay, which we are not gonna spend much of our time talking about, because in terms of gap identification, a gap which includes inconsistencies in research findings. This one says that one says that. You have read 2, 3, 4 literatures, but each of them have different findings, have different opinions, everything. Then where are you? Through that, you can now be able to do what? To understand, okay, look at what has covered, look at what the area to look into. Okay, so now we're moving over to theoretical framework. And what is this? Because oftentimes people, students, scholars get confused. Why do I need a theoretical framework in my study? Let's look at it right now. A theoretical framework is a simple structure at layout that outline that shows a significant component of what your study is all about because it justifies important and the feasibility of that study which you want to do. It helps you to organize to show you through a table or through diagram through a diagram how basic this study is by showing the foundation of existing knowledge guide that will be able to guide you in that research process. We're gonna see look at it through the importance of it because of what your theoretical framework enables you to provide you a structural framework that define the study. For example, through your philosophical groundings, your methodological groundings, your analyticals and everything that will guide you through that very study. For example, right now, when let's say you have from your topic, then now you get a theoretical framework. That theoretical framework will enable you to give you a basic and comprehensive understanding to show what researchers view on this, what theory is guiding this. Let's say you're talking about acceptance of technology. What has been known about the acceptance of technology? What informs acceptance of technology? That's what theory will inform you about because people have done it and then given a comprehensive theory that's okay for technology to be accepted. Look at what informed the acceptance. And now when you're doing something with that within the line of acceptance of a technology, what do? You look for a particular theory that deals on that very aspect to be able to guide you in terms of building your argument, building your methodology, your statistical and analysis, and so on and so forth. That is what theoretical framework entails. Okay, it's also enhance the credibility, depth. You know what I'm saying? And the generability of your research. So by the time you have a comprehensive theoretical framework guiding your study, your findings, generalizing your findings will not be difficult, which ensures that academic scholarly work have that element of rigor and relevance in application. That is it. So a theoretical framework gives you that very leadway for your study to be acceptable in practice. Okay. Also, there are key theories, like I talked about before, when you're talking about on the acceptance of technology, there are many theories that you can use in a different disciplines, like information system, computer science, and so on and so forth. One of them is your term, and many others. You have revised term, and so many others. So now you look at your topic, what you're trying to find out, and then choose a theory that can enable you to achieve that. Because a theory should be able to connect your research, your topic, your research objective, and then which enables you to get your findings. Okay, so no matter in any kind of theory that you are choosing, there are two elements that is very important, which is many scholars are missing out when they put the theoretical framework in their study. They just put it there without any link to their study. That shouldn't be so. Now, for a theory to be relevant in your study, there is a need for you to be able to discuss that very theory much more, provide a justification. Why have you chosen this particular theory and not other? And that justification should be able to tell you, okay, how it's linked to your objective, and then through to what you want to find out. And from there, you can even build your hypothesis through that theory, that the component of that very theoretical framework. Because remember that it is a structured layout that has components that have construct, and those construct is what is going to guide you what you want to find. So by you connecting all those constructs to your study, to your objectives, you're able to say, okay, build your hypothesis from there, and then build your questionnaire from there. You're able to say, okay, for me to, let's say example, you're using term, because under term it has a lot of component, it has a lot of construct. Now each of those constructs can be interpreted differently to say, okay, does this apply to what I'm talking about? Does the perceived usefulness apply to your study in terms of when people making decisions and acceptance of technology? Do they the perceived usefulness of it, does it apply? Then you build your questionnaire around it, or you build a hypothesis around it to say, okay, to test, does the perceived usefulness of it makes people to accept this technology or not. So, and that is so this one of the term is one of the leading theoretical framework in computing in general. You have your revised term, which talks about the indigenous factors that affect technology acceptance. As well, you have your unified theory of acceptance and use of technology. We consider different components like your performance, expectancy, effect, and so many others. Which all these are different components that can inform people, that can influence people, that factor in when people organization think about adopting technology. So the why and the how should be able to be detailed, to be explained in your study how you want to use it, and then that connection between each your objective and the topic, very, very important. Okay, so what about a conceptual framework model? A conceptual framework is a visual written outline that is illustrates the relationship among key components. It providing the guiding the research objective questions and the design and analysis of your study. And this conceptual framework, the difference between conceptual framework and the theoretical framework is that a conceptual framework is a researcher's own concept which you want to try out. For example, remember that a theoretical framework is an existing framework that have been built, but a conceptual framework is your own researcher's idea, which you can build your own conceptual framework looking at existing theories. Like now, let's when you look at term, we borrow some components in term, borrow some components in revised term, and unified model, and so many others. I say, okay, that this can be applied to your study, that can be applied to your study, to your topic, to your topic, to your topic. You put all those components together, and others you read in literature, which is not part of any theory, any conceptual framework, and any theoretical framework. Sorry, you put all those key relevant components to your study. By the time you put them together and then you have it in a diagram form in any shape, that becomes what is called what? A conceptual framework. And then why do you need it? The importance of it, that it helps the researchers to construct a coherent explanation of the relationship between variables. So it enables you to know, okay, what is the link between variable A and variable B. And remember that whatever you do should be able to be embedded to define your research, informed by your research objective. Very important, because I've seen many times when researchers put all these things in their studies without any link to their research objective. That shouldn't be the case. So any theory that you build, try to build those components of that very theory, link them to each and every objective of yours, guiding the exploration of the research problem in a systematic and integrated manner. You can now see that your research problem can have a comprehensive flow. Okay, a conceptual variables represent the abstract idea construct that are not directly observable but are essential for understanding the phenomenon under study. Like what I've said before, it is your own idea which have not been tested, but a theoretical framework has been tested, but a conceptual framework have not been tested. It is your own idea. These variables are interconnected through relationship. Okay, and now you can see they have arrows that shows that links to that links to that, and so many others. Okay, guys, and then so in all these things we're talking about, so there is a link for you to to integrate your these frameworks. The integration of a theoretical and the conceptual frameworks are very important in a study. for that study to have relevance. Researchers can ensure that their study is well grounded when you're able to link the theoretical framework and the conceptual framework, okay? While also providing a clear explanation of the relationship between key variables. The integration enhance the rigor and the credibility of the findings. So when you're able to say, okay, I be able to say, okay, I have um you have multiple conceptual framework theory that you are using, and you're able to link them together very well. And more, remember, you should always justify where you have taken those things. Be able to pinpoint, tell the reader where you have taken all those. If you have a combination of, or even a single theory, be able to tell the reader where you've gotten them. So the alignment with the research objective, with the research questions and the hypothesis, is a critical in ensuring that the study design analysis are coherent and focused. Perfect. By the time you're able to align it to your questions and this thing, the coherency and the rigor part of it will be testified. So the alignment helps the researcher justify the study direction and contribute to the overall rigor and clarity of the research process. That will not be overemphasized. So what we're seeing here right now, that the integration between theories is very important, but the alignment and the link to your research objective and questions are very critical. In conclusion, what are we talking about today? That literature review provide you a deeper understanding. So this presentation is able to provide a deeper understanding of what literature review is, which enables a researcher to identify gap in literature, assist in drafting major themes and headings, critical review and analysis, and an analysis of the existing literature. Then we're able to understand what the theoretical framework is all about and the importance and so and some of the key theories in IS studies. What about conceptual frameworks and its important and variable relationship and the integration of framework. So guys, I believe that this presentation, I'll be able to provide a clear view of what literature review is all about, theoretical framework and a conceptual framework. Please, if you have a please remember to ask your questions and then share the slide with others. Thank you so much, and as well as subscribe to the channel. Thank you.